Hello, hello. It's Agnes Vivarelli and doing a YouTube for you today, requested by Nure. She asked about doing a meditation to change the surname. So this is for the ladies only, and just sit back in your favorite position or lay down, and we're going to start with the breathing. In for 4, out for 4. Breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. Last one, breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. Now, I want you to imagine going to the letterbox, and you open your letterbox, grab your mail, and walk back into your place. And you're standing in the kitchen at the kitchen counter, looking through the mail, and you see on the letters, to Mrs. and I will let you fill in the blank. So just spend a minute imagining you're standing there at the kitchen counter, envelopes in your hands, and flick through, and I want you to see to Mrs. and you put in the person's name that you would love to be married to. So I'm going to go into the silence and you spend a minute doing that now. Now, I want you to let that scene fade out, and I want you to phase in another scene. You are walking into an evening out with your husband, and you walk into a lovely, lovely party. And your husband is on your left, and you're holding hands. And you walk in, and there's people standing around chatting, there's food being eaten, you can hear a little bit of music. And your husband turns to someone that he knows, that he hasn't seen for some time, and he introduces you and says, "This is my wife." This is my wife. And you smile at this person and shake their hand, and you feel the pride of being Mrs. You fill in the blank. And you feel such joy being introduced as Mrs. You feel a sense of connectedness, a sense of love, a sense of security, a sense of belonging, a sense of I matter. And you just stand in that moment at this party, having been introduced as the wife, the beautiful wife of Mr. And you know that you are now Mr. and Mrs. When you go out together, you are connected, you are a union, you are a couple, you are secure, you are at peace, and you radiate that out. Oh, a genuine knowing that this is how it is. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And one more, breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. Now I want you to let that scene fade out. And I want you to imagine yourself in your home with your husband, and you hear the phone ring in the house, and you go to answer it, and someone says, "Hello, have I reached the home of Mr. and Mrs.?" And you answer, "Yes, yes you have. I am Mrs. What can I do for you?" So I want you to just go over that one more time. The phone rings, you answer it, and you hear, "Hello, have I reached the home of Mr. and Mrs.?" And you answer, "Yes, I'm Mrs. What can I do for you?" So I just want you to replay that one more time in the silence to yourself. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. And breathe in for 4. And breathe out for 4. Now I want you to let that scene fade away. And I'm going to count you out of the meditation. And when you're ready, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Now I'm going to put in the description for you the Imagine Meditation by Neville Goddard. It has a little section, there's 3 parts to the imagining, but there's a little section about imagining being married, and that's the component that will really tie in nicely with this YouTube today. So Nare, here is your YouTube. Hope you enjoy it. Lots of love to you, and happy, happy manifesting.